Welcome to soccersmarttraining.com. This video looks at the defensive shape of various formations. Enjoy the video. So we're going to start with a defending shape of a 3-5-2 formation. As you could see in this, the back four are outlined in yellow, the midfield in red, and the two forwards up there outlined in purple. So what's going to happen is in this 3-5-2 formation, you have a few different adjustments you can make, turning it into an actual 4-4-2 in its defending shape. So normally you would have five midfielders. One of the center defensive center mids drops into the back line to make it a back line of four. So now you have two lines of four with two forwards up top. And you can see the rotation that's taking place with the black arrows. In this next one, you could see that instead of dropping a defensive center mid into the back line, you're actually going to drop the left winger, and you could see the ball position is over here on the right hand side of the field. So if the ball's on the right hand side, the left winger will drop in to make a back line of four, as one of the center midfielders drops in to make it two lines of four, and obviously the two forwards up top. There's many different ways that you can adjust defensive shape in a 3-5-2. This is the second way that I'm showing you. Let's take a look at this third variation here. Again, the defensive center mid drops in the middle to form a back line of four into the yellow. One of the other center mids is going to drop in to make the second line of four. And the variation here is one of the two forwards is going to drop in on an angle behind. So you're actually going to have a 4-4-1-1, or you could call it a 4-5-1. These forward, the forward and before in the example, two of them both stayed high, but in this, one drops off. You could always have one of the center mids go outside to the left and the left winger drop in to make a back line of four. However you do it is up to you. So let's look at a 4-3-3 formation right now. The four are in yellow, the three are in red in the center. And then take a look at, in red is actually the right winger, which would be part of the three up top, and then the forward is pressuring the ball in purple, and the left winger is left alone. The reason we leave him alone, it's just a different way to play defense. You've got two lines of four plus one pressurizing the ball. Real Madrid often do this and leave Ronaldo out there on the left wing. What it does is it makes the counterattack that much easier. So when those two lines of four, the forward win the ball, they know that the left winger is already up high ready to counterattack. So in this next example, you'll see it is a 4-4-2 because that left winger simply just came back to make the second line of four with the midfield. Now, one of the center midfielders did push up just a little bit, so you have a 4-4-1-1. Now, if he wanted to push up higher, it could be a 4-4-2 in defending as well. Now let's take a look at the defending shape of a 4-4-2. So you have four in yellow in the back line, four in red in the midfield, and then you have two forwards. One forward tucks back, so it actually looks like a 4-4-1-1. Notice that if the ball's in the right-hand position where it is right there, that the left center mid fills the gap in between the back four and the midfield. So really it's 4-1-3-1-1, but we'll just call it a 4-4-1-2. So when we take a look at this next 4-4-2 shape, the only real difference is that the other forward has stayed high instead of tucking back on that 45-degree angle. A lot of times both forwards could take away, they can match up and take away both center backs, or one forward can take away the wing back and the other forward could take away the center back. Even both forwards have some freedom at times. If they'd like to leave the midfield line, they could leave the team and just go ahead by themselves and pressure and try to make something happen. But in this setup, they're playing parallel, and obviously you could play one back as in the last slide. It could also be called a 4-1-3-2. In this slide here, this is the 4-2-3-1. It's the exact same setup that you just saw. Oftentimes, there's very, very little difference between formations in the defensive shape. There is a difference in the attacking shape, but really, when you look at formations in general, it really is only about 10 yards between players, and the formation totally changes. Now, obviously, coaches can give more flexibility to a system, more range of movement to certain players or the whole team in a system. So if different players are constantly filling different spaces, it's a harder team to understand and to mark compared to a more rigid system where the same players are filling the same spaces all the time. In this version of the 4-2-3-1 defending shape, you could see now you pushed your number 10 up with your number 9. So it looks just like the 4-4-2 in the defensive shape with both forwards up top. Well, in this case, it would be the number 9 and the number 10. It technically could be, again, called a 4-1-3-2. A lot of the defensive shape also depends on where you lose the ball. In this, obviously, we're playing a line of confrontation. I'm showing you once the team is compact and so forth. Hopefully, you could see some of the differences in formations of the defensive shape, but remember, formations are to be interpreted by the coach, and the freedom is given to the player on depending on how the coach wants the team to play. So if the coach is going to let a 4-2-3-1 be a flexible formation, he will give total freedom to maybe the 3 center midfielders to interchange positions at will. If he's going to play a very strict, rigid, disciplined 4-2-3-1, maybe the number 6 will never move out of his spot, and the number 8 will always be the passing center mid, and the number 10 will always be the attacking. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Check out soccersmarttraining.com.